Hello, everybody. It is Rocco, you boy, coming at you once again with another Age of Sigmar video. In this class, we're starting a new series of videos that I've been wanting to try for a while. This is because it's not quite a master class. It's a more advanced though for a 101, and I just keep putting things as general, and I'd rather have a new thing for it than just say, "Hey, this is just a general class." All right, follow me, camera guy. Uh, Things that scare Deepkin players. In this series, we are going to talk about armies that, like, for me, that I main Deepkin. I also play Stormcast and cities and whatever. But I get a lot of questions where people that say, "Hey, man, I play this army. What do I have to watch out for in my counters? What makes you nervous?" And I feel like it's part of the way to also how do you beat some of these armies is ask people who play them what they're worried about when they go against some crazy build at a tournament or in your friend's basement or wherever at the local game store where you get your pickup games at wherever. And for me, as a Deepkin player, I am scared of anything that just dumps out a bunch of mortal wounds through abilities or spells. All right, abilities and spells. Those are my two big ones here with my nice little tuxedo shirt. And then maybe like Rocco, mortal wound shooting is so much more prevalent. You've got all these things coming at you like Lumineth archers. Are you really scared of your dad Teclis that left you when you were like 10 years old and you just never got over it? No, Teclis left them much longer. Okay, he went out for smokes and just never came back. But that's mostly because he was trying to kill all of them as a failed creation. But they have a right to be afraid of Teclis these days because, and not the archers. And here's why I don't care about Sentinels. Idoneth Deepkin have a lot of ways to mess with shooting. They have a rule where you have to target the nearest Deepkin unit. They have rules where, you know, infantry models like Nardi Thralls have to, well, not have to, but they get a ward save if they're near your terrain feature, the ship. So it can be very easy for me to be like, hey, cool, you have to shoot a unit that's chaff that I don't care about that also gets a ward save against mortal wounds. And that's great. Cool. That's the waste of your shooting. That was your 30 block of sentinels. Good job. Good job. That was like 600 some odd points. Great. What I don't have in my super elite Deepkin army. Oh, also to stop shooting, we have a once per game ability in the first round you could take where they can't shoot you unless they're within 12 inches of your unit. So like we can get 2 turns of not being shot anywhere important. That's great. That's fine. Cool. The abilities and the magic spells though come in because Deepkin, except for one model in the Eidolon of the Sea, we're not good at magic. We're more Tyrion's children of being great at combat. There's a book called The Court of the Blind King because the Deepkin love Tyrion so much they just keep bringing him up wherever they can. And my conspiracy theory is he's actually rooting for the Deepkin and will be our real god and father, and not show up for Tyrion's high elves. And it's a whole thing, I'm sure. That'll never happen, but who knows? When it comes to magic, again, we have the Eidolon of the Sea that has some good magic capabilities of casting and stopping magic, but that's a 300 some odd point model. I'm talking with my hands now because I'm terrified of magic spells, man. We don't have unbinds. Besides that, we have a foot wizard and anyone you want to ally in, I guess. But we are a lot of decent armor saves, and the foot heroes have a ward save, and you can give ward saves to the thralls, sure, but it's a 6-inch bubble off of the ship, and also the reavers, great. But if you're bringing eels and sharks and my beloved Shelly baby girl, who's right there with me, right there, with the GW artwork, so I can't have this copy struck. listen, dear viewer, she's got 16 wounds. The 2-up save is great, but if you're gonna do d6 wounds a turn to her, and you roll hot, she's gonna be halfway dead pretty quickly and start bracketing, and then I'm kind of screwed. All right, the Achillean King, the Murder King, that has the build where you give them the extra attacks per enemy unit is near, and it's like, oh my god, tearing everybody up. He has 7 wounds and no access to a ward save. Not natively. He's gonna die horrifically if a couple spells just happen to get in his way. Because here's the fun fact: Deepkin has an anti-shooting rule that I mentioned earlier, where you have to target the nearest Deepkin unit with a shooting attack. That is not true for abilities and spells. You can just launch magic at the nearest pane or the farthest pane in your rear end that you need gone and turn it into a smear of sea salt. That's it. If you have like mortal wounds on the charge, or if you have an ability like, instead of doing a shooting attack, here's an ability like the bird for Ogre Maw Tribe. Some of the riders have access to some kind of a hunting falcon, where you pick an enemy unit within whatever, and on like a 2-up, they take mortal wounds. That goes through. I am terrified of that. And if I don't get the charge, and I brought a bunch of offensive eels, my damage output gets cut dramatically. And my cool support heroes that make the Namarti, Thralls, and Reavers really good by keeping them alive longer or buffing them, if they die horrible deaths before I get to do all my cool stuff, that force multiplier that I was building my list around is just gone, and I am just limping, So what armies have these kind of capabilities here? Again, Lumineth Realm Lords with Teclis himself, Seraphon are a huge thing with Comet's Call. Now, back in 2nd edition when the Seraphon book dropped, my way that I countered it was I brought Volturnos, who has the spell ignore. And, if you have Seraphon, Lumineth, Zinch, all casting spells, a Black Horror of Olgu from Marathi coming out at you, the Sylvaneth Mortal Wound Bomb from the Warsong Revenant coming at you from any tree they've grown or overgrown to. No, it's the tree. They have a command trait for it. It's the regular wildwood tree they've grown. And you need your general to be alive long enough to do like a battle tactic, like this one's mine, or just to be that force multiplier for that once per game. Hey, 3 or D3 of your units get to fight first early, to try to push that advantage that Deep can need for our type of high tempo play style. If he's just dead, you're screwed. So Volturnos might be making a return to my lists. But, you get like the Ogre's impact hits. You get anyone with a good spell lore. You get Olander's ability that seems like a shooting attack, but not really. You get the Black Coach. I'm pretty sure is an ability, not a shooting attack. And then even with the spell ignore, you're still getting shot horribly with mortal wounds that aren't through a shooting attack. And that is rough, because you are bringing a lot of elite stuff, even with some Thralls and some Reavers. You're generally taking some eels. I like taking my turtle. That's a quarter of my army's worth of points right there. And if they're taking out, you bring 18 models to a game, and you're losing 4 or 5 a turn, you're going to have a bad time. Other armies that have been kind of sneakily getting more mortal wounds access is honestly Khorne. With their murder rolls when they die on a 5-up, that all of a sudden, if we're more of a melee focused build going into Khorne, those murder rolls are very scary. If they get enough models in range to be able to proc it and do what they need to do, that's a problem. Nurgle also is very strong into Deepkin because of their mortal wounds from spreading their plague and their disease points. I mean, it's always like they're coughing and spreading the plague. Where that gets we don't have access to a lot of healing to negate the disease points. And again, unless you're taking one specific wizard that has access to a healing spell, that some people are taking, but not a lot, because it's so many points when you're so elite of an army to start with. You you just really get roughed up from mortal wounds, and that's things that scare Deepkin players. And also you can look at, like, let's see, Mega Gargants could have a fun thing with their impact hits or their monstrous rampages to like lift, like, say, the turtle out of position. You can look at the more things are coming to me. Hold on, I should have put this in the script, but it's okay. You can look at like their ability where they go down to like one attack and can do like 4d6 mortal wounds of damage. Terrified of that thing if it ever hits. And again, the longer we think about this, the more we can see why Deepkin, for a lot of tournament meta comparison here, are honestly kind of middle of the road in their win percentage. Like if you look at like the Honest Wargamer or stats that Games Workshop themselves have provided from their Meta Watch articles. And mortal wounds from abilities and spells are just everywhere. Even the humble Arcane Bolt doing D3 mortal wounds will mess us up. But with that, again, that's things that scare Deepkin players. Hopefully you like this new series, these videos. I'm going to try in the future maybe to get guest speakers on to talk to armies that I don't play, or play regularly at least. And thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. If you like the content, leave a like. Leave a comment too on armies you want to see covered next, because there's so many freaking armies. We're going to try to go through them all here. And thanks for watching. Roll some dice and be nice. Bye.